Part 1. The Marketplace. They say you can't buy happiness. That was the old world. In this city, happiness is cheap. It cost about 50 credits for 10 minutes of synthetic joy. But memory? Real memory? That is the expensive stuff. My name is Elias. I haven't felt a genuine emotion in 3 years. I don't mean I'm depressed. I mean I'm empty. A hollow shell walking through the rain. I work 60 hours a week staring at code, and I sleep in a pod smaller than a coffin. I came to the district tonight looking for something illegal. I didn't want the synthetic drugs. I didn't want the VR loops. I wanted a prime. A prime is a raw, unfiltered memory extracted from someone else's brain. You plug it in, and for an hour, you are them. You feel their love, their victory, their adrenaline. You don't just watch it. You live it. And tonight I was going to buy the best one on the market. Part 2. The Archivist. The Archivist was a legend. They said he had memories from before the war. Sunsets that were actually yellow, not orange. Oceans that didn't smell like sulfur. He looked at me with his one good eye. It was watery and yellow. "You want the gold," he wheezed. "Nobody asks for the gold anymore. Too expensive. Too risky. I have the money," I told him. I slammed a year's worth of my savings on the table. "I want to feel at peace. Do you have peace?" The archivist smiled. It was a jagged, ugly thing. He opened a small metal box. Inside lay a chip, glowing with a soft, warm amber light. It pulsed like a heartbeat. "This," the archivist whispered, "is the purest memory I possess. A perfect Sunday morning. A loving wife. The smell of coffee. A child laughing in the yard. No war. No debt. Just absolute contentment. Why would anyone sell this?" I asked. The archivist paused. "Sometimes the light is too bright for eyes that are used to the dark. Do we have a deal?" I didn't hesitate. I plugged the jack into the port behind my ear. Part 3. The Golden Memory. The transition was instant. The smell of ozone and wet pavement vanished. Suddenly, I smelled toast and lavender. I opened my eyes. I wasn't Elias anymore. I was someone else. Someone happy. The sunlight hit the kitchen table in a way that made me want to cry. It was so warm. A woman was standing by the stove. She turned around. I felt a surge of love so powerful it nearly knocked the wind out of me. This was my wife. I knew everything about her. I knew she hummed when she cooked. I knew she had a scar on her left knee. "Coffee's ready, darling," she said. Her voice was like music. I took the cup. The heat radiating into my fingers felt realer than my entire life. A little girl ran into the room, giggling, and hugged my leg. "Daddy, look what I drew." I felt pride, safety. I felt like a king. I thought to myself, I never want to leave. I will stay in this loop forever. This is worth every credit. But then, I noticed something on the table. Part 4. The glitch. The memory wavered. Just for a second. Like a scratched DVD. I looked at the woman again. She was still smiling, but her eyes weren't looking at me. They were looking through me. They were wide with terror. Why was she afraid? I was her husband. I loved her. Then I looked down at my hands again. The tan skin was gone. I was wearing gloves. Leather gloves. Tight. My heart rate in the real world spiked. The monitor in the archivist's shop must have been screaming. But inside the memory, I couldn't move. The little girl wasn't hugging my leg anymore. She was hiding under the table. "Daddy, please stop," she whispered. "Stop." "What?" And then the surge of emotion hit me again. But it wasn't love this time. It was rage. Cold, calculating black rage. I realized with horror that I wasn't playing the memory of a loving father. I was playing the memory of the intruder. Part 5. The Truth. I tried to scream, but the script was already written. I couldn't stop my hand. I watched, trapped behind the eyes of a monster as he destroyed that perfect Sunday morning. I felt his adrenaline. I felt his sick satisfaction. And then I felt his sudden crushing regret as the siren lights flashed through the window. I saw his face in the hallway mirror. I ripped the jack out of my skull. I fell backward off the chair, vomiting on the dirty concrete floor of the shop. My head was splitting open. The images were burned into my cortex. The blood, the screams, the smell of lavender mixed with iron. I looked up at the desk. The archivist was sitting there, watching me. He looked calm. For the first time, his hand wasn't shaking. Part 6. The Exchange. You, I gasped. That was you. You did that. The archivist nodded slowly. I did. 40 years ago. Why? I screamed. Why did you sell me that? You said it was peace. It is peace, the archivist said softly. For me. He walked around the desk. He didn't look like a frail old man anymore. He looked lighter, unburdened. You see, Elias, he said, opening the door to the street. Memory transfer technology isn't just about copying files. It's about transferring them to make space. He looked back at me one last time. I couldn't live with that guilt anymore. I needed someone else to carry it for me. You wanted to feel something real? Well, now you do. Part 7. Conclusion. He left me there in the dark. I checked my mind. The memory was there. Fixed. Permanent. I remembered killing them. I felt the guilt as if I had done it. I felt the weight of 40 years of nightmares crashing down on me in a single second. I bought a memory, but I paid for it with my soul. Be careful what you wish for when you want to feel alive. Sometimes, the dead are the only ones getting any sleep. Subscribe, or you might be next in line.